Welcome to the Explainer. You know, getting transfer pricing wrong can seriously sink a company's strategy. And guess what? It's a guaranteed topic on your SCMPE exam. So today, we are going to break down the 4 key methods you absolutely, positively need to know. Let's dive right in.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the core problem. What's the big dilemma with internal pricing anyway? Then, we'll walk through the essential methods you'll see on the exam. Variable cost, standard and full cost, and of course, cost plus markup. And we'll wrap it all up with a final scorecard to really hammer these concepts home.
So before we jump into all the different methods, let's just take a step back and really understand the fundamental issue we're trying to solve. I mean, why do companies even need a special price for internal sales?
At its heart, this is the question. This is what every big multi-divisional company has to figure out. It might just be an internal transaction, but the price you set, it has a huge impact on everything. Divisional profits, manager bonuses, and, most importantly, the decisions people make every single day.
So this internal price directly hits each division's profit report, and here's the crucial part. It drives the behavior of the managers. If you get this price wrong, you'll see managers start to prioritize their own division's profits over what's actually best for the company as a whole. And that is a huge problem.
Okay, let's talk about our first method. It's the simplest one on the books, the variable cost method. Think of this as setting the transfer price at the absolute bare minimum it takes to produce the item.
So, with this method, the price is set to cover only the marginal cost of production. We're talking direct materials, direct labor, any variable overheads. That's it. All those big fixed costs like rent and salaries, they are completely left out of the picture.
And the trade-off here couldn't be clearer, right? On one hand, the purchasing division is thrilled. They get the lowest possible cost, which makes their own profit numbers look great. But the supplying division, they're forced to operate at a loss because they can't recover any of their fixed costs. This, as you can imagine, creates a massive motivation problem.
Now let's bring this to life with our Pixel Corp case. Imagine you're the manager of the chip division. If you have to transfer at variable cost, your profit and loss statement is going to show a loss on every single one of those internal sales. It's incredibly demotivating, especially if your annual bonus is tied to divisional profit.
Okay, exam hats on. The key takeaway here, the key word you need, is sub-optimization. This is where a decision that seems perfectly logical for one division is actually terrible for the company overall. The chip division manager has zero incentive to invest in a new, more efficient machine if it raises their fixed costs, even if that investment would be a huge win for Pixel Corp as a whole.
All right, to fix the big problems we just saw with variable costing, let's look at 2 methods that try to cover more of the supplier's costs. We're talking about standard cost and full cost.
So, standard costing sets the price based on a budget that's decided beforehand, which is great for evaluating performance. Full costing, on the other hand, goes a step further. It includes all production costs plus a little slice of non-production overheads just to make sure the supplying division at least breaks even.
You can see the subtle differences here. Standard costing is really a tool for control. How are we doing against our budget? But it might not push anyone to actually reduce costs. Full costing ensures the supplier doesn't lose money, but it completely removes any profit motive for selling internally. It becomes a chore, not an opportunity.
And this creates a classic goal congruence problem, another key exam term. The chip division manager, who is motivated by profit, is naturally going to prioritize their external customers who pay more. Internal transfers that offer zero profit, they're going to fall to the bottom of the list, which might not be what's best for Pixel Corp at all.
Now this is a classic exam trap, so listen closely. The buying division looks at this full transfer price and treats it as its variable cost. But wait, that price is loaded with the supplier's fixed costs. This totally distorts their decision-making. They might end up rejecting a special order from a customer because it looks unprofitable, when in reality, it would have easily covered the company's true marginal cost.
So now we get to a method that finally tries to solve that motivation problem head-on. It's time to let the supplying division actually make some profit from its internal sales.
Adding a markup definitely solves the supplier's motivation problem, but it creates a brand new issue around fairness and accuracy. Think about it. If the supplier's full cost includes their own marketing and distribution expenses, the buying division is essentially paying for services it never even received on an internal transfer. That's not fair.
And this really highlights the major risk.
Sure, the chip division is happy and profitable, but that inflated internal price makes the laptop division's final product too expensive to compete in the market. This could lead the laptop division manager to start buying chips from an outside company, which might be better for their own P&L, but way worse for Pixel Corp's overall bottom line.
Okay, let's pull all of this together with a final comparison to really lock in these concepts for your exam.
This table really is your best friend for revision. I want you to notice the pattern here. As you move down from variable cost to cost plus, you are absolutely increasing the motivation for the supplier. But, and this is a big but, you are also increasing the risk of distorting costs and making bad decisions for the company as a whole. It's a constant balancing act.
All right, let's do a quick-fire recap. Variable cost. It only covers the cost to make one more unit. It's simple, but it really demotivates the supplier.
Next up, full cost. This recovers all the costs, but there's no profit to be made. It's safe, but it creates a real disincentive to help out.
And finally, cost plus markup. This adds a profit for the supplier. It's great for motivation, but it runs the risk of inflating internal prices and making the final product uncompetitive.
And that right there is the core question you are going to face in your SCMPE exam. The truth is, there is no single one-size-fits-all answer. Your job is to analyze the specific scenario they give you, weigh the trade-offs of each method we've talked about, and justify which approach best aligns that division's interests with the company's overall strategy. Good luck.